Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I am here in the workshop today to show you a few fun projects that I'm working on with our Full Moon Fun paper pack. And so we're going to go ahead and get started right away today. I am going to go ahead and switch over to the workshop. And here we go. I have a video coming out tomorrow where I am using one of our Creative Memories bringbacks. It's our Full Moon Fun pack, and also there's a sticker pack with this, which I'll show you in a little bit. And it just has so many cute pages. The video coming out tomorrow is celebrating quite a few holidays. And so, of course, I had a few scraps, and I thought, well, why not use it in my live and create a 2-page layout and a card and show you all some Halloween pages at the same time. We're going to go ahead and do a frame from this really fun black full moon page. I pulled out a sheet of our goldenrod and burnt orange cardstock to use as my base for the 2 pages. I'm going to go ahead and set aside, I feel like I have a lot on my table right now, but I didn't want to forget anything, so I kind of had everything put out. And the first thing we're going to do is cut a frame using our 12-inch trimmer. Here's a closer look. You can really see those moons and stars there. The back side of this page has kind of a black and white plaid pattern. But what I've done is we're going to do a 1-inch frame out of this 12 by 12 paper. One of the nice things about our 12-inch trimmer is it has a, let's see if I can get the camera to focus. It has a ruler along the inside track, and I added a binder clip at the top and at the bottom, so that way it'll help me know where to stop my blade for my 1-inch frame. And then we also have this little side mark on our blade housing that tells us where our blade is actually going to hit on our page, as well as the arrow that follows along on the track. And hang on just one second, I need to change out my mat real quick, which is another thing that's nice and handy, is you can house all of your blades and a replacement mat in the bottom of your trimmer, so that way you have all of your supplies you need just right away with your trimmer. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and line up our paper at 1 inch here, and go ahead and close our trimmer. So I'm lined up, and so when I go up here to the top and I press down, because you do need to push down on your blade to make it cut, and I'll just press down twice, and you can see I'm going to hold it up here where we have just cut, where we've left at the top and at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and turn my page again, and we're going to cut again. And having my binder clips makes it effortless, because I don't even have to think about what I'm doing with my blade or where I need to stop. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut that one going up. And here we go. Here's our last cut coming here. And there we go. Oops, I didn't quite reach my binder clip on that one. So here we are. We have our, I didn't push down hard enough, which happens from time to time. It's like, you know, one of my things that I seem to do regularly is I don't always push with enough tension on my blade. But so we have this nice piece we can use later on one of our projects, and you know I will find a use for it. But we also have this really cute frame that we're going to use on our page. So I'm going to set that aside a minute, and I'm going to readjust my clips here. So the bottom clip was right where the 12-inch mark is on our ruler here, and my other binder clip was at the 0. So that way my blade knew exactly where it needed to stop. For our second fun cutting with the trimmer, we are going to first, we're going to use this fun pumpkin page, and I'm going to cut 1 inch off of each end here. So that way we'll have an 11 by 11 inch sheet. And if you want, see, there we go again. And that's partially why I didn't move my paper this time. It was because I know I don't always push down as hard and as long as I should here. Let's go ahead and get the inch off the bottom here. So we have an 11 by 11 inch sheet of our pumpkin paper now. I am going to add my clip at the 7.5 inch mark because we want to get 4.5 by 6.5 inch mats for our 4 by 6 pictures out from this one sheet. So you're going to line up your sheet at 4.5 inches. We are going to cut down to our 6.5 inches, and you can see where my blade is stopping from my binder clip. My blade is lined up exactly at 6.5 inches, so I know I've made the correct cut. We're going to go ahead and turn our page. We're going to line it up at 4.5 inches again, and starting from the top again, we're going to go to the 6.5 inch mark, and then we're going to turn our page again. We got our first mat off. There's 4.5 again. You want to make sure you turn your paper the same direction every time, and then we'll just keep stopping at our binder clip. Here's our next mat coming off, and here we go. We need to go to 4.5 again. I know it looks a little funny when you're doing it, but trust me, it works out every time. And then you have just a little square in the center here that is cute for decoration, or you can put stickers on it. We'll see if we wind up adding those to our page later. But I just really wanted to show those 2 tips for you all. I didn't get a chance to show it to my friends who came to my National Scrapbook Day events over the weekend, and I had meant to. We just got a little bit busy with our projects and chatting and other things, and so it is what it is. Time goes quickly sometimes. I'm going to set aside my 12-inch trimmer for a moment, and now I'm going to grab my decorative trimmer, and hang on, because I'm going to show you. If I can get the right sheets to cooperate with me. There's our frame we had. There's our 4 mats. We need 1 more of these. I made this cute little bow, and I did some double bows as well for my video that's coming out tomorrow. And you can see how I actually make the bows in the video, but part of the scraps are these little strips that come off from cutting our straight edge to create the bow, to create these waves, if you will, from our decorative trimmer. And I wanted to use these to decorate my page, and I had also used the Black Moon page for one of my bows, and I want to frame out my opposite page that we're going to put the frame on with some of these scraps, because that's what I do, is I'd like to use up a lot of my scraps. On our decorative trimmer, bringing in your paper from your left, if you look at your markings at the top of your trimmer, there's a 1 inch, and then going to the left is the 2 inch. And you want to be at the 1.5 inch mark for this. So when you're, I'll explain it better in the video that comes out tomorrow for your bow, I wanted to at least let you know where I was lining up the paper, and I did line it up with the top on this trimmer. It is specific on whether or not you're going to line it up at the top or the bottom of the trimmer. But here we go. I have a matching piece to go with my other piece I cut the other day. And I'm going to set the rest of that sheet aside, and I'm going to set my decorative trimmer aside, and we are going to start to put our page together. And if only I had thought to grab my tape runners. We'll put our pages together and my parchment board. Well, we'll see if we need to make do without that. Give me just a moment here. Nothing like being live and having forgotten something. Okay, here we go. I have my permanent tape runner. I have my repositionable tape runner. I grabbed my micro tip tools. Excuse me. My micro tip scissors and my multi-purpose tool. My parchment board is not in this bag, so I'll just use one of my 12 by 12 bags instead, which is fine as well. And here we go. So if I have that, I knocked my head into the thing, and I apologize about that. Okay, knock the camera just a little bit. So we're going to start with, let's call it the left side of our page here. And I want to frame it out with our little strips, our scraps from our decorative trimmer cutting. And so we'll go ahead and do the ones down the sides first. Let me grab my bag here and my repositionable tape. And here we go. We'll go ahead and start. I want to put the straight edges along the edge of our cardstock here. Okay, first one down. Let's get this next one down. And the nice thing about the repositionable tape is that you can move it easier once you have it down if you need to relocate one of your pieces, which this one is just a little bit crooked, so I'm going to try to fix it here real quick. Or you can always grab your multi-purpose tool, and it makes it really easy, and just slide it along. Here we go. Okay, so we're a little bit above the page, but no problem. I'm just gonna grab my micro tip scissors and give it a little trim here. No problem. Nothing sticks to these things, and it's okay to have an occasional small scrap. Let's go ahead across the top and bottom of our page, and I wanted that to kind of match. I mean, these two kind of have the oranges and the brighter colors, and the other, this one's going to have the black. And I want to just put this over the top of the other ones. Running along the top of the page here. Let's see if I'm in the corner. Not quite. So let's see if we can do this. Go from the left corner here and work our way across the page. Here we go. All right, so now we have a cute frame going around the left side of our page. And I'm going to go ahead and add, I don't usually do both pages at the same time, but we're going to go ahead and get our other frame on the right side. So this way we can kind of do both our pages at the same time. I didn't make as big of a plan for these pages as I have on some of the others, since I did have events all weekend, which was wonderful and a great time, but whew, it wore me out a bit. And so I kind of came up with our live a little bit on the fly here, and we'll see how it all comes together. It's kind of fun to really test my creativity here. And I thought it would also be fun to show you all these cutting techniques I haven't had a chance to really show you yet. So you see how this one just perfectly went down on our 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. Get these other things out of the way. We're going to grab our 4 by 6 mats we cut. I'm going to also move some of this other stuff out of the way so that way I can get into the camera a little bit better for you. And that way you can see what I'm doing a little bit better on both sides of the page. I'm going to scoot that back just a hair. Scoot this over. I do have a card planned as well. But in fact, I'm just going to pick up all this and scoot it over and bring it back in when we need it. Here we go. Now you should be able to see everything. So we have our pumpkins, and I kind of want to keep them going the direction that the pumpkins are going because I like that. And we can lift up our frame and put our, well, let's do it this way because we want our pictures to really be the star. And so later when you put your pictures on the page, you can actually lift this up because remember we use the repositionable tape and it's easy to manipulate. And then I'm going to bring in my little bow. I'm going to center this one a little bit more. I'm going to put my bow up here. And then I also had a couple of other scraps from doing the bows that I was thinking about creating a couple of other just little decorative pieces on our ends here, and we'll add probably a little sticker to the middle of them to cover the seam a bit. So let's get our mats down first and we'll work on the rest of our details here for our pages. Okay. And here we go. Piece these two together. Oops. So that way it looks like another little decorative bow here, and I decided to use both sides of the paper because then it accentuates a little bit more what's going on. I kept the polka dots away from the other polka dots so that way it wouldn't be quite so busy. And so we have those on the bottom. Let's get our mat onto our right side of our page as well. And I'm kind of gonna center this on our page and make it more of a focal piece after cutting this other frame. And let's see here, we'll go ahead and, whoops, Just fold that down a little bit. My tape runner got a little crazy there. I think I'm actually going to center this up here. There we go. I also have, which you will see, and well, we'll see, do that one more with the card. I do have a few little shimmer ghosts I can add to my page, but I really want to add a couple of stickers here. Like I said, I know I want to find a sticker. Actually, I think I'm going to use these little starry pieces for the middle of our little bows we created here. So we have, what do we have? Gray, green, black. How's about we pull in this black over here for the center of our bow tie. And if you want, you can put the foam square under it. I'm not going to this time. What do we think about maybe orange on this side for all our pumpkins, or maybe a little green? Let's pull out a little bit of the green. Here we go. And that just accentuates and makes it look a little bit more like a bow tie. I was looking at some of our stickers earlier, and I really like this Haunted Mansion, and I also like this Pumpkin Sweets Spooks and Treats. So I'm going to actually place that one first, I think. Maybe we'll put that up here. Well, let me see how big this mansion is going to take up our space on our page. Whew. Yeah, that'll be good there. Okay, I'm going to put the mansion just on straight here. And then I'm going to grab my foam squares for this one. And we'll just use the small foam squares today. If you have some of the large ones, you can use those also. The small is what was handy, so the small is what I'm using today. And it all works. It still pops it up. You just need to use a couple more of them. Here we go. Oops. Looks like, well, that's okay. And if you don't want your sticker to be sticky, put a little baking soda on before you pull your backing off of your foam squares. So then that way your sticker won't, if it touches the page, it won't stick to the page. So I'm actually going to reverse these because I think that this will draw our eye both to this picture and to our other pictures. And I feel like I had one other one I wanted to add. Let's do foam squares aside. I wanted to put this little spooky one. I think I'm going, we can put it in between here. Because a lot of times we have this. Or you can also do the full moon vibe. But I like the spooky. I think it's just fun. So do we want our spooky down here? No, because I think it's pulling in too much from the black. But if we put our spooky here, there we go. It ties our two pages because this one has the pumpkin, but it also calls the pumpkins up here. And this one has our spooky, which kind of also calls to our black frame over here. And then there's a nice spot here for some journaling, or you can put a little journal box up here, but it actually looks like it would fit a little bit better down in the bottom here. And so we have our two pages done. I will hold them a little closer to the camera for you. And here's our other page with our little bow scrap pieces that we pieced together. There you go. Not too shabby for doing something on the fly on a Monday morning here. So our card that we're going to do, I am going to grab one of my blank cards from our blank card kits. Oops. See now, that's where I miss my parchment papers. The parchment paper doesn't get sticky from the repositionable tape. I will have my parchment board next time. Okay. So I'm going to grab out my 12-inch trimmer again. I'm going to cut out this little saying up here, the sticky fingers, tired feet, one less house, trick or treat. I just think it's a fun saying, and I think it's going to be cute on our card. So I want to cut this out. I'm going to use my cutting guide on my trimmer to make sure that I'm getting just inside of the line here, because our card front is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and when I measured earlier, it looked like the way this went here was just about right for our card front. And so I looked at my side line to see where my blade was when I was cutting, so I didn't go too far into this green, because I really just want this part from the saying, and then I can use some of the other sayings and the rest of the page later. So let me get my cutting guide going again here to make sure I'm cutting along the right space. That looks lined up pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to cut down again and just up until my green starts again. Take that little bit out. I'm okay with that. And now we're going to line up to cut through this, actually through here, because I needed to come just inside again. So let me get my cutting guide going again. Oops. Get my paper actually in the trimmer, and here we go. All right, that looks great. Let me find where this part ends, and you can use either side on your guides to do that with. And here we go. We have this nice saying to use for our card front. You can set aside your trimmer, because this one's going to be just a super quick card. If you want, you can add a piece of cardstock behind it if you don't like having the white showing, but I'm actually okay with the white because I'm going to be bringing in my little ghosties. We had this Ghost Chain Border Maker cartridge last fall, and honestly it sold very quickly, so you're going to have to just keep an eye open to see what comes out this coming fall for Halloween. But I wanted to put, I have cut them out in white shimmer, and so I'm going to cut in between these two here to put across our card front. And I have a few singles as well that I might stick a couple below here, but I just thought that that would be super cute. The ghosts go with the theme, and I'm going to go ahead and stick this page down. Across the front of our card here. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. I thought I'd double check that, but it's always good to make sure that you have your card going the way you want it to open before you start sticking things onto it. And it looks like I'm just a hair wide, so I'm going to take my scissors and trim that off, because I want my card to be able to fit nicely into an envelope as well. So as much as I thought I was fussy cutting and doing well with the other trimmer, I missed it just by a hair. You can see the paper even just curled. It was so thin, it was thinner than 1/8 of an inch there. All right, I'm going to grab my bag again. And we are going to have our ghosties running across the top of our card here. Wouldn't this just be a great party invitation? Alright, where did I put the rest of my stickers here? Here they are. Because I knew I wanted to add these little bats to the sides as well, and then we'll see if we want to add any of our other single ghosts at all. So here I thought that this would be kind of fun to tie in the two ends of the card. I'm going to take my microtip scissors and I'm going to just cut in between a couple of my foam squares here because these bats are thin, but I want to pop them up, and so cutting through the paper makes it, well, a little bit quicker and easier, but I didn't quite get through it the whole way, so I'm just going to go back through and get that off. And my paper's coming off already, and the other one's stuck to my finger. Not sure how that happened, but I'll pull it off in just a moment. Because I think this, okay, this one still has the sticky part on it. Do I need this other one for the middle? Here we go. Boy, the foam squares are going rogue here. Yep, there we go. That one fits the middle nicely. So pull that off, and here we go. Okay, oops. Well, I'll deal with that later. So this one's going to go over here. So we have our bat, we have our ghosts, we have our foam squares, and I'm going to grab this other bat. And this one may wind up just kind of flying through here. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to put the two halves. This one went through all the way. And put those on here. Put that on there. And we'll have our bats going through our card front. There we go, giving our card a little more movement. Let's see. We have one of our ghosts that can kind of hang out down here. I kind of like the one that looks like he's upset and sort of surprised here. Do we have another unhappy ghost? Yes. We might put this guy floating through, following the bats a bit. There we go. So let me get my bag again. I keep moving everything around on myself here. Here we go. And add our extra ghosts to our our card here. And there we go. I just think this would be a super cute invite for if you have another kid that you want to have come and trick or treat with your kids, or just to send a little Halloween greeting. You can see how the ghosts kind of have that little bit of shimmer to them from our white shimmer cardstock, and then we added the bats, and it just would be a fun card to send to somebody. So that is it for this morning. I hope you all enjoyed seeing the tips with the 12-inch trimmer and the decorative trimmer. Stay tuned for my other video coming out tomorrow. It's going to go from Valentine's Day until Christmas with some of the holidays, including Halloween, and where you'll see the rest of the bows and how to actually make them. Here's our bow coming back, our pages. And there you go. 2 cute Halloween themed pages that didn't really take us all that long to put together. Until next time.